Auditorium, Des Moines, Iowa, March 10th, 1979. The excitement is at fever pitch. Hi, everybody. My name is Jim Zabel, and you stay tuned because we're going to bring you highlights of the 1979 Iowa Girls State High School Basketball Tournament. All the color and excitement of this great sports extravaganza right from Veterans Auditorium as it happened in Des Moines. And another sellout crowd is coming into the auditorium to witness the 1979 Girls State Championship battle between Des Moines East and Bettendorf. And here's my good friend Frosty Mitchell interviewing tournament breakfast queen Mary Huber. Mary is captain of both the Regis basketball and softball teams and was the only Regis competitor in cross country this year. She's an outstanding student as well. One of the top fans of girls basketball year after year is Governor Robert Ray of the state of Iowa. This is one of the highlights of the entire tournament, the appearance of Governor Ray and his family. In the consolation championship game played earlier tonight, Hudson defeated Ackley Geneva 82-71. Hudson with a record of 26-3, Ackley Geneva 23-5. These were the two losers in last night's semifinal games. Hudson in the light uniform, paced by Mary Henke, number 44. Mary, the tallest girl ever to play basketball in Iowa at 6'5", celebrated her 18th birthday today by ramming in 56 points, by far her best performance in the state tournament to date. Number 40 in the light uniform for the Hudson Pirates is Don Wumpkus. Don is a 6-foot junior, and she won the state free throw shooting championship earlier today. She came in with 17 points to lead her team to victory. Ackley Geneva playing in the dark uniforms, paced by all-tournament forward Tracy DeBerg. Tracy, a 5'11" senior, scored 41 points. Hudson has the unique quality of being coached by a woman, Connie Schaefer. Connie was herself a former girls basketball star at Bedford and was cover girl back in 1965. So it was Hudson over Ackley Geneva, 82-71. Now, one of the highlights of state tournament night, the traditional Parade of Champions. This was one of the teams that survived a sectional loss to make the tournament field. They were Big 8 conference champions and finished as the 7th-rated team in the state. In their second straight trip to the state tournament, these gals lost a 2-pointer in the first round. Coach Bud Legg and the Ames High Little Cyclones. This group made their 4th consecutive state tournament appearance and ended the year with the North Iowa Conference crown and a 24-5 record. They also had to avenge the sectional loss in the final 16. From North Iowa, Coach Howard Dorman and the Belmont Broncos. Going into the sectional finals, these girls won only 5 games, but they put together 6 straight and made the tournament field. They were one of the newcomers to the Sweet 16. From the Lakes Conference, Coach This team had to be 2 of the 3 teams to defeat them in regular season play to get to the Sweet 16. The regional final was an overtime victory. They feature a disciplined offense and stingy defense. From the Hawkeye 8 Conference, here is Coach Ade Schmall and the Glenwood Ramettes. These gals' coach has had a team in the final 16 in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And who knows, maybe next year, too. Contenders in 5 decades. Meet Coach Chuck Neubauer and the Harlan Cyclonettes. One of the undefeated teams, they finished in the 10th ranking spot. They captured the Maple Valley Conference, went through tournament, played decisively. 4 of the 6 starters returned, and overall, they were a young team. Look for them next year. Coach Bob Schultz and the Maple Valley Ramblers. This team is tied at 16 for the most tournament appearances, and their coach has been in state meets more than any other in history. They're also one of 14 schools to win the state meet twice. Meet the Southeast Iowa Conference champions, Coach Bud McLaurin and the Mediapolis Bullets. This is another town with 2 state titles. These girls were the 4th highest scoring team in the state and were ranked in the top 20 all year. But they lost twice in the regular season. Coach Tony DeSeco and the Montezuma Bravettes. It was the first time for this team and the 3rd time for the coach, but for him the first trip was 1946, the second 1954, and 1979. Meet Coach R.V. Mullen and the Cedar Rapids Regis Royals. This team made their 4th trip to the state tournament after surviving 7 regular season losses. They are members of the Twin Lakes Conference and return their 2 high-scoring forwards. From Northwest Iowa, Coach Don Good and the Rockwell City Wildcats. Coming to the state tournament, this team was undefeated, and their first-year coach had not yet coached a loss. They featured balanced scoring in the forward court and a tough defense. Coach Mike Christensen and the Storm Lake Tornadoes. No one gave them much of a chance in their second-round game against the state's top-rated team. All they did was lead most of the game before losing a heartbreaker. From Northeast Iowa, Coach Bob Thompson and the Waukon Indians. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union crowns champions in 15 sports. In all, about 27,000 students participate in the program. There are also 6 individual winners, and the basketball title will be determined later tonight. Some of the teams and some of the girls we're looking at include the Ankeny Hawkettes. What a fabulous record they've had over the past couple of years. Defending state champions in basketball, and they've taken the last 3 championships in softball. The Manila Hawkettes, they've won 13 championships in track and distance running and 1 title in basketball. Also, Hull Western Christian Indians, the Indians of Indianola, Iowa. The Ames Little Cyclones, the Tri-County Trojanettes, as we look at the various sports here. Cedar Rapids Kennedy Cougars. Volleyball, one of the rapidly rising sports in girls play. And this team, Dubuque Wallert's Golden Eagles, had 98 wins and 7 losses. They've taken 3 titles and 4 overall. Let's salute now the champions of all the sports in girls athletics in Iowa for 1979. One of the highlights of the final night is the traditional girls' state tournament pageant.
But the place to live and grow is the one that we all know, the best in all the land, our own beloved state, Iowa. Home of the brave. With God's blessing, may we continue to grow and prosper.
Now let's meet the starters. First, the guards. From Bettendorf, number 43, Tony Cowan. From East Des Moines, number 10, Diane Cameron. From Bettendorf, number 45, Pam Lehman. From East Des Moines, number 34, Teresa Satterfield. From Bettendorf, number 51, Sue Block. From East Des Moines, number 42, Jeannie Gamble. Now the starting forwards. From Bettendorf, number 25, Dawn Crosby. From East Des Moines, number 12, Carrie Cramy. From Bettendorf, number 23, Kathy Note. From East, number 14, Judy Forrest. From Bettendorf, number 31, Leanne Resch. From East Des Moines, number 50, Lori Bauman. The Bettendorf head coach, Bruce Rasmussen. And the head coach of East Des Moines, Bob Henson.
Now to tell you all about it, a new state champion to be crowned, here's Jim Zabel.
Thank you very much, Frosty Mitchell, and the East High School Scarlet, who are wearing their white uniforms, belying their names, nickname, I should say, and the Bettendorf Bulldogs, who are wearing their black uniforms. Colors are black and gold, and the ball will be thrown in to Bettendorf, and Kathy Note, 5'7", is in the circle right now and takes it over to Resch. Resch goes down the right side, picked up by Satterfield right away, back to Note again. It's going to be a test right now to see whether they can penetrate this East guard court, and as of right now, they could not do it because East with Jeannie Gamble and Jody Nelson provide a lot of height out there. That's Gamble in there right now, but the ball is taken back again by Dawn Crosby. Satterfield taps it away. She is fourth in state tournament interceptions and one of the fine quick guards in the state. Who's going to get it? Loose ball. Right away, Bettendorf gets it back again, and that is Tony Cowan. So the Bettendorf Bulldogs have it, and we're 30 seconds into the game with still no score.
Pretty obvious both teams are just a little bit tight, Jim. The big marbles are in the ring, and they know it.
No question about it. First time at the state for both teams, and there's Note, and off with the rebound is Gamble. East has the ball. Satterfield takes it now.
East has not had the ball in the forward court in 1 minute of play.
Blocking foul is called on Leanne Resch, and they can't afford to lose her. She's their leading scorer, 26.5. And talk about balance, Frosty. In the games to date, the East High School team had games of 41, 99, and 108. That's Forrest, Cramy, and Bauman. And right now we see Cramy with the basketball going over to Judy Forrest on the inside to Lori Bauman, the bubblegum chewer, and can't get it through the hoop. And the rebound by Sue Block, who's played a good game here at the tournament. First foul. So we got an offensive foul each way now as Sue Block, or a foul we should say each way, as Lori Bauman picks it up, trying to get the ball away from Sue Block.
If that's an indication, Jim, these officials tonight, Dick Legg and Dale Peterson, are going to call them tight in the championship game.
All right, and here's Notes with the basketball now, and over to Resch. Leanne Resch goes over to Crosby, back to Notes once again, tries to drive against Gamble, and Resch with the basketball against Satterfield. Satterfield, one of the quickest guards in the state. Back again to Resch. Oh, man, they're throwing air balls up there, and now a foul is called against Norton. A blocking foul against Norton.
Well, 90 seconds have gone by, and we're working on a double no-hitter at the present time here in baseball parlance.
All right, and now it's going to be East with the ball in forecourt. Lori Bauman with it. Back again to Cramy. Cramy over to Judy Forrest. Forrest to the basketball now into Lori Bauman. Bauman working in there against Block as she drives down the lane. And how's this going to be called? Blocking or charging? Apparently, a blocking foul is called. That's right. We had to wait for that one. That could have gone either way. Pam Lehman charged with it.
Coach Bruce Rasmussen up off the bench.
Very close call on that one.
He'd like to vote on it, and his vote was the other way.
That certainly would. And it legitimately could have gone, I think, either way. All right, here's Lori Bauman at the free throw line now. A scoreless game. We're just about 2 minutes into it, and Bauman can't hit it.
Great big banner came up in the Bettendorf crowd, Jim, where you were a while ago, says, "Come on, ref."
75.5% free thrower. She could give her team the lead in the game, and she does.
Breaks the ice.
Hits the ball through the hoop, and that's the first score of this game. 1-0 East. Block with the basketball now for the Bettendorf Bulldogs. Get it into forecourt over to Kathy Noth. Crosby looks to Noth. Resch is the leading scorer, but it's so well balanced in front court, and a charging foul. Now, as she tried to drive in and through, that's on Don Crosby. So 2 fouls on the 3 fouls rather on Bettendorf in the offensive court alone on Crosby, Resch, and Noth.
Oftentimes, early offensive fouls is an indication also of tightness.
All right, and now the ball is loose. Who's going to get it? They get it away from Cramy and take it back across the line, and it's a 1-0 game for East, but Bettendorf has the basketball. Leanne Resch against Satterfield, really fronting her that time, trying to get the ball. Note, back again to Don Crosby. Over to Resch. Here's Resch, and it's off the lip of the basket, tapped around. Who's going to get it? And it's East coming up with the rebound. Satterfield takes it. Diane Cameron, the initial rebounder, number 10. Back to Judy Forrest. We're in the forecourt for East, leading 1-0. And now they call traveling as she falls down. Judy Forrest called for traveling. You were so right, Frosty. I think these gals are a little bit tight, a little bit nervous, and no wonder.
Right, Jim. If either one of the teams suddenly breaks away from the tenseness or the butterflies, they'd have a chance to jump out. And this is typical sometimes in boys basketball, but unusual in girls basketball.
All right, Block threw it over to Resch that time, and now it's in forecourt. Back to Resch again. Let's see if she can get it this time. She does. Goes over the head of Satterfield, shoots and scores the first field goal of the ball game, and Bettendorf takes the early lead here, 2-1 over East.
And it took 3 minutes to get it.
Tremendous defensive play, though. Let's credit these guards and what they're doing. Here's Cramy with it into Bauman. Looks around for the give and go. She's going to bounce past to Cramy, and Cramy's bank shot. That's a favorite player. There's a bank shot by Judy Cramy, who a great shot from the field, hitting 72% from the field. East is leading now, 3-2 in the early going. Underneath to Resch, Leanne Resch. And the ball looked like it was going through, but didn't drop. Satterfield with the rebound over to Cramy across the line. She's back to the ball. Cramy lost her balance that time. Carrie Cramy, as she tried to throw the pass over to Lori Bauman. So it's going to be played in by the gals in black. Bettendorf Bulldogs.
Both coaches deciding to let them play. Nobody taking time out. Apparently feeling that wouldn't settle them down either.
All right, and now it's Crosby with the basketball for Bettendorf, and Crosby finds the range.
Jim, it might seem low score, 4-3 halfway through the first quarter. We had a district final this year that ended 4-2 in 4 overtimes.
I know that. That was an unbelievable score.
Melvin beat Sibley 4-2.
Here's Carrie Cramy. Is it going to be good? It is. Carrie Cramy coming down. She has 4 points for East. And East has taken the lead here by a score of 5-4 over Bettendorf. Bettendorf with it now to Resch. Both teams playing man-to-man. Noth to Crosby. To Noth once again. Back again to Resch, the leading scorer. Back to Crosby, and off the bracket, and Satterfield with the rebound.
That East defense has great rebound position. When that ball goes up, they're usually right.
And there's a fast break now for East over to Judy Forrest, but she slows it down. Great shooter herself, but they use her mainly as a feeder, although she is in double figures in scoring. Forrest to Bauman, 6'3" against 6'1", and Bauman wins. She goes in against Sue Block. 7-4, East now inching away to a 3-point lead in a hard-fought defensive battle. Resch over to Crosby. Satterfield looked the way she's overplaying. Back, she overplayed too much. A backdoor by Resch, and a foul on East.
And a chance at the hat trick is coming up right here.
Okay, and Resch now will be at the free throw line, number 31, shooting for the Bettendorf Bulldogs. She's 73% free thrower.
She had qualified for the state high indoor track meet today in the high jump, but of course did not participate.
Ties the score at 7. 3:16 to play. Satterfield inbounds the ball from Gamble. Cameron is the other guard. Number 10, a bad pass that time. Somebody broke the wrong way. Bettendorf has a chance to take the lead. Notes with it over to Crosby. Don Crosby being harassed by Cameron, and now back again to Crosby. Resch, guarded by Satterfield, tries the line. Back to Resch again. See if she can get around. Tries to put the move on. It can't do it. And here's Notes. She's open. And is it going to be good? No. Satterfield with the rebound. Another heartbreaker for Bettendorf. Look at that pass by Satterfield, but she traveled with the ball. Satterfield thought she was in a softball game, I think. She was pegging that thing.
East Des Moines wants timeout. I think they want to talk about it.
All right, East Des Moines, Bob and Sharon Hansen, the coaching combination. There's the timeout on the floor with the score tied at 7. We'll be back. Here's Bettendorf now. They'll inbound the ball, and it's Kathy Noth, number 23. Bettendorf wearing the black uniform. East in their white with pinstripe pants. Now it's Bettendorf, and East playing very, very tight defensively. Kind of ganging up on Resch. Here's Noth with the ball. Tries to get in, and Crosby forces the shot up there. Good job by Crosby.
Excellent.
She picks up her 4th point. Just forcing the ball right in there. 9-7. It's Bettendorf over East. East with the basketball now. Number 1 rated team in the state. There's Cramy out in front. Against Pam Lehman, number 45. Judy Forrest. Over to Tony Cowan, who really jitterbugs on defense. Cramy. And Cramy off balance that time, but a follow through by Lori Bauman. Great balance there by Bauman as she just took the ball right away from Sue Block and put it through.
That means Bauman needs 40 more points if she's going to catch Mary Hinkey for the scoring derby lead in this tournament.
Leanne Resch now over to Dawn Crosby on the inside. Back to Resch again. Her shot puts Bettendorf back in front. We're having a thrilling championship game so far with Bettendorf now leading East 11-9. East with the basketball in forecourt to Judy Forrest into Carrie Cramy. Back to Forrest. She has the shot. Can't get it, and it's a jump ball. Sue Block ties up with Lori Bauman. Bauman, incidentally, is just a junior, so she'll be back again next year for East.
Sue Block of the National Honor Society is in there because of injuries. They've had 3 guards hurt so far this season.
I know it. Bettendorf had their top guard injured earlier in the tournament here. Now here's Judy Forrest with the ball. Back to Bauman as East won the jump ball. Bauman with it. That short jumper ties the game at 11. And it's tied at 11 now with 1:19 left to go in the quarter. And Leanne Resch working against Satterfield. Goes over to Crosby. Back at the head of the circle to Noth. And there it is. Kathy Noth. Spells her name N-O-T-H. Puts it through. Leanne Resch, the leading scorer for East, for Bettendorf, rather, with 7. Bauman, the top scorer for East, also with 7. Cramy with the basketball, working against Pam Lehman, number 45. Goes over to Judy Forrest. Lofty pass. Now into Bauman. And Bauman is carrying the load here for East. She has 9 of East points, and the score is tied at 13. Now it's Don Crosby with the ball. Back to Kathy Noth for Bettendorf. Over to Leanne Resch, guarded by Satterfield. Tries the baseline. Satterfield's all over it. Can't do it. Noth with the basketball.
Bettendorf's very patient. They're waiting for the high percentage shot, knowing that East is not only good defense, but good rebound.
All right, now, before Resch can get the ball away, they call a charging foul on number 25, Don Crosby, the 5'5" senior. That's 2 fouls on Crosby and 4 fouls on the front court of Bettendorf. Shows you what kind of aggressive defense they're playing, I guess, as much as anything. Satterfield, line violation on Satterfield. She stepped out of bounds. That's twice now. Satterfield's had that problem, and score tied at 13. Bettendorf has a chance to take a lead here. 24 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Noth with the basketball. Looks over to Don Crosby. Head of the circle to Leanne Resch. Back again to Noth. Ball was almost deflected away there by Jeannie Gamble, and now it's Resch with the ball over Satterfield. Is it going to be good? It is. Shooting over the head of Satterfield, and she pops it through, and that's difficult because Satterfield can really leap. Not tall, but great leaping ability. 15-13 score. Now, as we come to the end of the first quarter, the score of Bettendorf 15, East Des Moines 13. I'll tell you a guy with mixed emotions, our good friend Kenny Buckles, who played on the 1950 championship Davenport boys team under Paul Moon. I saw him last night in the crowd. He has 3 nieces playing for East, and he, of course, lives in the Quad Cities. So I imagine Kenny has some mixed emotions here. Now, it's Lori Bauman with the basketball. And Lori makes it look easy that time as she starts off the quarter, giving East the lead, or trying to score, rather, we should say, at 15. 11 points now for Lori Bauman. And it's now 7 minutes and 39 seconds to play in the first half. Leanne Resch against Satterfield.
And our viewers saw a great chance there to see that extra half step that you're allowed in girls basketball that might confuse some people, but that's perfectly legal, and she used it beautifully.
11 points for Resch, 11 points for Bauman. And Bettendorf in front here, 17-15. Bauman with the basketball. Two-timing her. Cramy. Look at that pass by Cramy off the floor.
And look at that defense.
And back to Bauman. That's right. They reacted very, very well. Cramy on her baseline. She's deadly on that shot. Goes right over the head of Tammy Cowan, and you can't fault Cowan. She did her best there.
Jim, the tribute to that defense is the fact they've had so many injuries. They don't have a single guard that has played in every game this year. They lost Disney Gray for the rest of the tournament with knee ligaments in the Mediapolis game.
Look at Resch popping it through. Leanne Resch. 13 points now out of Bettendorf's 19 points for Leanne Resch.
Janie Benz was another guard that got hurt and missed all but 3 or 4 games because of injury.
Judy Forrest back to Cramy. Looking to Bauman. They always go to Bauman when they can, and her shot is short because she is fouled. The foul's going to be on number 43, Tony Cowan. Picks up her first foul. 4 fouls in the front court of Bettendorf. 2 fouls in the back court now. And she was fouled in the act of shooting, so Lori Bauman will get 2 at the free throw line. Bauman is a 75.5 free thrower.
Our camera angle probably won't show it here. Well, watch her blow a bubble just as she shoots. Lori Bauman at the line.
They call her the bubblegum champion of the tournament. Says it helps her relax.
Her mom, Billy, played basketball in high school.
Okay, Cowan with the basketball now against Judy Forrest, and up to Sue Block. Bettendorf in the black uniforms, east and white and red. And here, Don Crosby, guarded by Satterfield. As they switch off a little bit, Kathy Note. And they're trying to get it back out to Resch. They're allowed 3 seconds possession time, so they have to move the ball. Resch has it, and it's off balance, but it drops through. Leanne Resch now with 15 points. And Bettendorf taking the lead here, 21-19 over East. Lori Bauman. Forrest into Cramy, who's playing the post. And loose. Who's going to get it? She kicked it on the feet. A foul on Lori Bauman as she tried to get to the ball.
You know, Jim, even greater than the caliber of basketball is the fact there's a great personal relationship between these teams. East went to the Bettendorf basketball camps last summer and stayed in the homes of these Bettendorf kids. They're great personal friends, and the coaches are great friends.
Now, that's what Bob Hansen was telling me last night. He said, hey, we may play like enemies, but we really are close. Here's Notes with the basketball. That's foul number 2 on Bauman, and Resch puts Bettendorf ahead now. The first time either team has had a 4-point lead, 23-19. Cramy with the ball for East, as they've matched points most of the time. East down by 4, 23-19. Whistle blows. Foul on Sue Block. They're watching the off the bow, pushing and shoving. And now it's on Block, and it's going to put Bauman at the line with a 1-and-1. There's the face of Bob Hansen.
He is distraught right now.
Right, he's got a few problems going on inside his mind, but why not? This is for the works. Bauman at the line, and the shot tapped around. Bauman rebounds. Comes down and tries another one. It's no good, and now this time it's Tony Cowan with a rebound. Resch takes it for Bettendorf. Bettendorf with the ball now. Back out in front.
They can afford to be selective with a 4-point lead.
They certainly can in this kind of a tight ball game. Now here's Note, and Note is fouled as she tries to come in. It's on Satterfield. Satterfield picks up her first foul.
Young lady going to the line right there, Kathy Noth, placed in the state softball throw in the mile relay 3rd last year.
The East High School cheerleaders. Resch has made 7 straight field goals, and now at the free throw line, it's Note setting, shooting, and scoring.
She missed half of the volleyball season with an appendectomy operation and still made honorable mention All-State.
Here's Note with her second one, and this time it's no good, but Resch gets the rebound. Now she loses it. Cameron across the line to Cramy. Fast break to Forrest. East has the basketball in forecourt. Back over to Cramy. To Lori Bauman. Bauman, and her bank shot gives her.
She is one fine ball player.
And it's now a 24-21 ball game. And in possession of the ball, the Bettendorf Bulldogs. Resch back to Note. Over to Don Crosby. Resch sets and shoots, and it's kept alive. They slap it around, but Cameron comes off with the rebound. Satterfield to Cramy, and Cramy gets the ball, and a foul is called on Tony Cowan.
Both of ball clubs are rated, Jim. That's the Hanson family you're looking at right there, Bob and Sharon on the left. East Des Moines rated number 1, and in the final rating of the season, Mike Henderson had Bettendorf number 9 in the state.
And they knocked off the number 4 team, Pleasant Valley, on the way to state. Kerry Cramey having trouble at the line. Sue Block with the rebound. Bettendorf now leading by 4, or 3 rather, and they have the ball. Tony Cowan. Here's Don Crosby. Goes to Note, Note. Back out to Resch. Back to Note again. Guarded by Gamble. Tries the lane, and is she going to get it? The ball comes down, and a foul is called on Note.
Foul the option.
Note that she came after the ball. That's 2 fouls on Kathy Note. And I'll tell you, that forward court is both ways is playing a lot of defense out there. And there's one of the East High School Chiefs.
Chiefs and no Indians. Boy, Chief Bauman at the line right now is a tough one.
Bauman at the line. She hits it 24 to 22.
You talk about hobbies. This girl combines riding motorcycles, playing pool, and knitting. Not all at the same time, though.
I want to see that. And chewing gum. 24 to 23 as Bauman hits twice. Tony Cowan and Pam Lehman across the line with the ball. Bettendorf in forecourt leading by 1. Don Crosby out to Resch. Goes to Don Crosby. Shoots and scores.
Excellent effort. You know, Jim, with such a tribute to championship basketball is this. That's why between these two teams, they've won 56 basketball games this year and lost only 1.
Bettendorf now on defense. Let's watch East as Judy Forrest has the ball. Back to Cramey. Kicks it out to Forrest. Bauman, they put her in the sandwich, try to block her, and Sue Block, but Bauman goes right around her.
A little bit of the inexperience in that Bettendorf injury-riddled defense probably showed that time. They didn't switch off.
Leading, however, 26 to 25, and the Bulldogs have the basketball in forecourt with 3:20 left to play in the first half. Resch with it. That time out a little bit too far, and Jeannie Gamble gave her just 1 shot as she comes out for the rebound. Diane Cameron now, number 10, takes it, and then to Cramey.
You know, when you watch that East defense, Jim, Mike Henderson of the Girls Athletic Union calls them the forgotten people. They are, because they're a good defensive unit. Everybody watches their offense.
Here's Laurie Bauman with the ball. Back to Cramey again. Her path was blocked. Cramey bent over backwards. Can't get clear for the shot. Here's Bauman with it. Out to Cramey. Cramey off-balance shot, and she's good at that one. Cramey now picks up her 8th point, and East Des Moines takes the lead, 27 to 26. Bettendorf. Back to Don Crosby. Over to Kathy Note. Resch. Guarded by Satterfield. Goes to Note. Over to Note again, and it's a jump ball. A jump ball that time is Satterfield is tied up with Resch. Leah Resch.
That's a terrific Teresa right there. She's a good one.
And Teresa gets the edge on the jump, and Jeannie Gamble now is tied up. They're going to have another jump ball with Don Crosby.
Don Crosby at 5'8", and Gamble here about 6'2" is not much of a match.
Right. Just give the edge to East. East is leading here, 27 to 26. Tip, who's going to get it? And they call a violation. They're going to give the ball to East.
Bettendorf was in the circle.
So now it's East out of the backcourt with the basketball. Gamble to Satterfield, to Cameron, and to Cramey. The front court now as they go to work on Lehman, Cowan, and Block. Over to Cramey. Let's watch Kerry Cramey, and there it goes. Kerry Cramey with her 10th point, and East with its biggest lead now, 29 to 26.
She's bread and butter, Jim. When they came back from the down 8 points to Wakan, Karen Cramey was the one that carried them through.
Don Crosby looks at Leanne Resch, passes to her. Satterfield really guarding her tight. Try to go down the lane, and traveling is called on Resch. I think the East pressure is being felt by Bettendorf now, and Bettendorf wants a timeout. They want to talk about Bruce Rasmussen. Timeout on the floor with the score. East 29, Bettendorf 26. It'll be Jeannie Gamble, stands 6'2", and Satterfield will put the ball in play for the Scarlet of East with 1:49 left to go in the first half.
That referee Dale Peterson that you were just looking at handling the ball in there.
Satterfield over to Cameron. Look at the defense being played by the Bettendorf forwards. There's East trying to lob the ball across over to Cramey. Fast break down to Judy Forrest. Back to Cramey. And Cramey with that perfect jump shot.
Boy, she's found her spot.
Bruce Rasmussen not happy about that over Bettendorf. 31-26, East's biggest lead of the game so far. Kathy Note underneath the Crosby. Got good position on camera in that time, and she gets her 8 points.
They needed that, Jim, just to stay close here to get a chance to go to the locker room.
1 minute and 12 seconds to play in the first half. Judy Forrest to Cramy. Look at the move that Cramy gives, and followed through by Bauman.
Super
on a
size.
rebound shot.
There's nothing you can do about that.
56 seconds left to play in the half. Resch with the basketball against Satterfield. Over to Crosby.
The coach can get him in the locker room and just let the kids realize that they can play with him.
Satterfield, look at that. Satterfield, one of the top interceptors in the state, and a foul is called on a block as it got up to Bauman that time, and now Bruce Rasmussen is on his feet, and Bettendorf Gal gets a plate of help from the bench. Laurie Bauman.
I don't imagine it's easy for a coach talking to his kids when you're playing the #1 rated team like East Des Moines. The old
at the free throw line.
The old cliche, I suppose, Jim, has to be they put their pantyhose on one leg at a time.
All right. Are they wearing them out there tonight? 23 points now for Bauman, and East now pulling away, leading 35-28. 40 seconds left to go in the half, and across the line, they barely get it. No, over to Crosby. Crosby's going to try to add a couple of great efforts, and she does. Driving down the baseline against Cameron. 35-30. 5-point lead for East. 25 seconds to go. And reaching in there and touching it is block, and that's a foul in girls basketball. And that could be trouble because if Bettendorf is short in any department, it's in the guard department. And that is 3 fouls on Sue Block.
You know, you go to that East huddle out there, and they all use nicknames, Jim. You don't always know who they're talking to. They call themselves a Pidgey, Jabbar, a Scatterbrain, DD. They never go by the name.
At the free throw line now is Bauman. 36-30. Bauman perfect at the line on this one. She now has 25 of East 37 points. East by 7.
And that girl Bauman at 6'3" grew a full inch in the last year and has another year of high school yet to go.
So it's Kathy Notes with the ball for Bettendorf. With 11 seconds left to go in the half, Resch drives in and makes it a little bit more even that time. It's a 5-point game. 5 seconds to play in the half. Cramy throws one up there, and it's almost good. Hits the netting on the underside. And there you see it at the end of the first half, the score. East Des Moines, 37. Bettendorf, 32. We'll be back with the Hall of Fame awards right after this. This year's entries: Barbara Balden, now Mrs. Sam Newsom, Adele, 1937. Fran Faring, Sacred Heart, Monticello, 1955. Ardella Canoop, now Mrs. Jim Schottfeld, Cloutier, 1949. Margaret Maycomer, now Mrs. Albert Wendt, Olin, 1940. The winner of the state free throw contest, Don Wumpkus, a 6-foot junior from Hudson, who was one of the stars also of the consolation game tonight. Don won in a thrilling shoot-off with Deb Burns of Pleasantville, 53 out of 55, 52 out of 55 for Deb. And now we join my co-worker, Frosty Mitchell, for the start of the second half.
In turnovers, well, East Des Moines has had 7 and Bettendorf with 6. But the big difference is the boards, where East Des Moines won that battle 15-3. East Des Moines about to pass the ball in to get the action started. East Des Moines will actually be going west in this particular case, and down they come. Cramy's the one that takes the shot. And Carrie Cramy, who wants to be a Sunday school teacher, or will be tomorrow morning, and wants to later on coach the handicap. Gets the bucket that gives East Des Moines a 7-point lead, 39-32. Satterfield called for the foul on the defense, and of course there's no free throw here. We're not yet on the 1 and the maybe, so it'll be played in by the Bulldogs of Bettendorf, and out there to play it in will be Kathy Noth of that starting lineup. She works it into Leanne Resch. We're back to our starting cast as Jim Zabel comes back.
Thank you very much. Got used to that French pronunciations down there. We'll come back to America now. See if we can make some heads or tails out of this. Here's Resch with the ball. And for Bettendorf, she comes through. And so right now we have a 5-point ball game. with East leading Bettendorf by a score of 39-34. East, as Frosty's told you, now driving at the west basket here in the auditorium. Judy Forrest. Back to Bauman. Going against Block. And right over the head of Block. 6 feet 3 against 5 feet 10. 5-inch height advantage there for East. 41-34 East. And now driving toward the East basket to our right as we are seated here in the auditorium. Leanne Resch tries to get the ball away from Satterfield. It does, and they call a foul on her. A lot of these are judgment calls, but
that's what the referees always need right there, Jim, a pair of those. 24 different referees working this ball game.
Optical illusions all over the place here.
The tournament, according to Bob Smiley, 24 of the best referees in the state of Iowa.
Now we have Judy Forrest with the ball over to Cramy. Goes to Bauman and gets in behind Sue Block once again. And Bauman is just going to town. 29 points for Bauman right now. Bauman during the season averaged 36 a game. 43-34. East's biggest lead, 9 points, as they continue to just pull away here gradually from Bettendorf. Bettendorf trying to put a stop to it there. It's Kathy Noth and Jeannie Gamble over to Satterfield as they get the rebound and controlling the tempo of the game now. Lori Bauman to Cramy.
Jim, those boards 15-3 at the half in favor of East Des Moines, and we're seeing it again in the third quarter.
And that tells you something, and here that tells you something too. A beautiful feed from Judy Forrest to Carrie Cramy, and that's what they like about Judy Forrest. She can hit, but she can also pass just pinpoint accurately. And now timeout is called by Bettendorf with the score East 45, Bettendorf 34. And now Kathy Noth will throw the ball into Bettendorf. They had their conference with Coach Bruce Rasmussen, and let's see what the Bulldogs decide to do. Kathy Noth, the gal with a pigtail hanging down the back of her uniform. Now over to Leanne Resch. They're going to give Resch that shot from 15 feet, and Gamble, that it's a low percentage shot, and Gamble takes the rebound over to Satterfield.
This is a big possession right here. East Des Moines is on the threat of, with a burst, breaking this game open.
Right, Bauman with it over to Forrest. Judy Forrest, and there's the pass going inside. They block it, and a foul is called on Bettendorf. All right, here was the situation. They threw the lead pass again to Cramy on the cut and drive. Getting in the way of it was Pam Lehman, and they call her for falling into Cramy. Is that the call on that? Let's see. So and the foul is on her.
And it wasn't real well received in the Bettendorf section, of course.
No, it's a little half and half, I would say. And right off the bat, Cramy pops one through. So Cramy now leads East to a 47-34 margin over Bettendorf. Bettendorf with a basketball. Resch turned around by Crosby, and she has a chance for a three-point play now. Foul on Gamble. 12 points for Dawn Crosby, 21 points for Leanne Resch, but 29 points for Lori Bauman, 18 for Carrie Cramy, and a three-point play attempt here. Dawn Crosby at the line.
This little gal's quite a French horn player. She won a #1 at the state competition.
Gamble with the rebound. The gal who commits the foul gets the rebound off to Satterfield. Back to Jeannie Gamble once again. Almost lose her balance, but Bauman takes it to the front court, guarded by Sue Block. Cramy back to Judy Forrest. Tony Cowan guarding her. Back over to Bauman again. Bauman doing it all herself now and making it look easy. She pops the 31st point of the night. 49-36, East by 13. 4:51 left to go in the third period.
With that, Bauman has moved up to third place in the scoring derby, Jim, with 139 points. She only needs 14 points to become the leader.
Too much time in the lane, and all kinds of problems besetting Bettendorf now as they desperately try to get into the act here. Satterfield inbounds the ball, and they call it. Got too close there, I guess. Kathy Noth had her back to us. There must have been 3 seconds.
That's a look at the first foul.
First foul, right.
Governor Ray on
Leanne Resch.
On the left. Now, that's his daughter, Luann.
Right. Enjoying the ball game. So, contact over there was made. Here's Bauman with the basketball. Back to Forrest. The well-oiled machine didn't quite perform that time, and Bettendorf comes up with a rebound. 3 fouls on Resch, who has the ball. Over to Dawn Crosby. Back to Kathy Noth. Against Gamble, it's Noth. And now it's East with the basketball. Cameron.
That defense continues to perform well.
Really just moving that ball flawlessly up court. And here's Judy Forrest. Over to Cramy. Carrie Cramy back to Judy Forrest. Judy Forrest will shoot, and she'll make it.
Boy, if I was a college coach, would I like to have her at guard?
Wouldn't she be tremendous? She's hitting 58% from the field, 82% from the free throw line. Crosby with the basketball. Back to Note. Kathy Note goes out to Don Crosby. And East lead now has cut to 51-38. 13-point margin for East with 3:30 left to go in the third period. Cramy with the basketball, almost wrestled away from her there by Lehman. Now to Bauman at the head of the circle. Back to Carrie Cramy. To Bauman. Going against block, and they converge on her. Judy Forrest on a screen shot. And that's what they do so well. They don't have to go to any one person. Lori Bauman, their leading scorer, but the other two gals in double figures also.
Judy has a twin brother named Jody that plays for the East High School boys.
Shot was partly blocked that time, I think, and Satterfield comes off with the rebound up to Bauman as East starts to get its offensive gear once again. Here's Judy Forrest. Tony Cowan almost got it away from her. Back again to Bauman. Can't decide whether or not to shoot. Now she decides. And block with the rebound for Bettendorf.
Jim, that 1-2 punch of East High is so devastating that now you have Lori Bauman third in the scoring derby and Carrie Cramy is fourth.
And that's a timeout for East with the score. East 53 and Bettendorf 38.
That was Bruce Rasmussen who was preaching to his kids right there. He's a Sunday school teacher. Maybe not tomorrow morning. He won't be back in Bettendorf. Mentioned earlier, Carrie Cramy's a Sunday school teacher for East Des Moines. And in that East Des Moines huddle, it was husband and wife, Bob and Sharon Hansen, talking it over. Jim, they actually coached against each other when Bob was at Maxwell and she was at North Polk, and they both coached softball, and he beat her.
All right, and here's Carrie Cramy as she gets the ball away from Tony Cowan and Pam Lehman, and Judy Forrest driving the right side. Puts it through. Judy now with 6 points for East High School.
She's simply known as the other forward, but boy, is she important.
She really does. She corresponds, I'd say, to the point guard in collegiate basketball. And there's a beautiful high-arching shot from the free throw line. And that one put in by Don Crosby. 55-40. East now was leading by 17. They lead by 15. And we have a foul on Pam Lehman. As they get the ball across the line, a foul called on Pam Lehman. That's 3 fouls of Bruce Rasmussen now conferring with one of his forwards. Note.
That Pam Lehman that picked up the foul holds the Bettendorf school record for the most letters won in the most sports.
Here's Cramy with a basketball for East. Once again, Judy Forrest to Lori Bauman. Lori Bauman. That's her 33rd point on a swing around jump shot. 57-40. East equals its biggest lead, 17 points, with 1:39 left to go in the third period. Gamble intercepts and comes up with it. They're going to have a jump ball as it comes across the line, tied up between Pam Lehman and Carrie Cramy. Pam Lehman, 5'7". Carrie Cramy, 6 feet tall. Cramy got the ball back again, and they call a line violation, I guess, against East High School. No, against Bettendorf. So it's going to be East with the basketball.
Jim, one of the interesting rule changes this year is the fact that guards can score in girls basketball.
As they can shoot 50 feet, right?
Well, or if they happen to throw a long alley-oop pass that would happen to go through the net. As of this year, it would count.
All right, here's Bauman back to Forrest. Wide open. Houston's going to line it very well. And Judy Forrest now has come up with 4 field goals here in the third quarter. 59-40, East by 19 points. Resch is fouled by Gamble as she gets in. Foul on Gamble. That's 3 fouls on Gamble. Sharon Hansen looking over.
And are they blessed with size? If Gamble at 6'2" gets in trouble, they go to Jody Nelson off the bench at 6'1".
Right, and they got Sally Caron in there at 5'10" in addition. And Teresa Satterfield, who's a real leaper, at 5'7". Here's Resch. Can't get him. And Satterfield, you just saw an example of how she can leap to get that rebound.
East High School is just located across the freeway from the state capitol. Tonight they're trying to move the capital of basketball from Ankeny to Des Moines, where it's never been for girls before.
It's getting closer and closer. First Southeast Polk 2 years ago, Ankeny last year, and right now it looks like East Des Moines.
All three of them. All three are Polk County.
Central Iowa Conference teams, and Kerry Cramey makes it now.
And of course, Jim, you have to realize
40 lead, 21 points.
Des Moines Roosevelt won the boys AAA a year ago, and Dowling has a shot this year.
Now, Bettendorf with the basketball as they work it in there. That's Lisa Nichols, 5'6", in the lineup for Bettendorf. And Nichols will throw it into the front court. So far, East has outscored Bettendorf 24-8 in the third quarter, and that is the big turnaround quarter.
That was Lisa Irvine that came in. Going out was Sue Block.
Okay, now it's Don trying a shot. It's good. Don Crosby puts it up and through. And it's 61-42. East had a 21-point lead. Now they lead by 19 points. Kerry Cramey with the ball with 6 seconds to go in the quarter. And it goes into Cramey. And the rebound by Tony Cowan. And so Bettendorf is going to have possession to start the fourth and final quarter, but they're trailing by a score of 61-42. We'll return with the final quarter right after this.
That's right across the freeway from East Des Moines, where they've got a big party planned tomorrow, 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, in honor of this basketball team, win or lose.
That's right, and also a big auditorium period scheduled for Monday morning over there at East High School. So a lot happening now for the Scarlet, who are in firm possession here of the lead, 61-42. Ball now for Bettendorf. Lisa Nichols takes it, and Jeannie Gamble now has it off the center field. Nichols tried to get a piece of it, couldn't do it, back again. Now it's East with the ball in forecourt. Judy Forrest with it, being hounded out there by Tony Cowan, but gets over to Bauman, to Forrest. Judy Forrest to Kerry Cramey. Back to Bauman, and she returns next year. The shot will be good, and she is fouled by Pam Lehman.
And they're going to count the bucket. Brought Bruce Rasmussen right up off the bench for sure.
How would you like to be starting out next year with Lori Bauman as your post forward and Jody Nelson as your post guard?
That's a good place to build.
At the free throw line, Bauman fails to convert, can't hit it. And now it's Bettendorf with the basketball. Intercepted by Gamble. And the defense as well as the offense is just proving to be too much. But I believe Gamble traveled to the ball. Kathy Noth is coming back into the lineup now as Lisa Nichols goes to the sideline for Bettendorf. 63-42, a 21-point lead for the East High School Scarlet over the Bettendorf Bulldogs. Leah Resch. Well, that helped in over the head of Satterfield out there.
Bettendorf trying to climb a mountain right now. They need a basketball miracle.
That was Leanne Rush shooting and scoring, and now Cramey comes down. Are they going to call charging or blocking here? Blocking foul is called on the backcourt of Bettendorf. Called on Irvine, who just came into the lineup. All righty, and we see that everybody is watching the ball game, except these fine people there. They didn't get a chance to see it. They're one of the concession stands working around it. They do such an efficient job here at the auditorium. Kerry Cramey at the free throw line. She makes her first one. Cramey now with 21 points.
Has a brother, Craig, that's 6'5". He's on the East High boys team. Young lady is also quite a third baseman, I think, all-state in softball. 65-44 is the lead now that East High School has. It goes off the court, line violation called. And there's Bruce Rasmussen. Got kind of a weak smile on his face, then got a big smile on his face, but not a smile of happiness. East. That referee is a tough way to make $1. I'm convinced. That's right. Lori Bauman tried to get the ball, had the ball, and then she's fouled by Pam Lehman, number 45. Fellow told me one time that officials are the only guys who can rob you, then get a police escort out of the stadium. That's 1-and-1 shot here. Lori Bauman at the line. And now it's Bettendorf with the basketball. Leanne Resch, guarded by Satterfield. Over to Kathy Noth. Back to Leanne once again. Leanne Resch
She got only one field goal in the third quarter, and now in the fourth quarter she has 2. 25 points for Leanne Resch. 65-46. East in front. East with the ball. Bauman with another bucket. Making their offense really click along here. 37 points for Bauman. Back to Kathy Note. Over to Leanne Resch.
If Bauman scores again, Jim, she will tie Tracy DeBerg for second in the scoring derby.
Wide open now to Judy Forrest. And Banks shots off the glass. East leading by 21 points again, 69-48 with 5:49 to play.
And she'd only be 8 points out of the lead in the scoring derby.
Kathy Note. Back to Don.
Boy, that all-tournament selection is going to be tough.
Really is. Leanne Resch. We'll find that out at the end of the game. All-tournament team. There's the losers here. Bruce Rasmussen up there, and Sharon Hansen's also. Here's Judy Forrest, and Judy has her shot blocked, and foul is going to be called on number 45, Pam Lehman. Timeout. She fouls out of the game. Pam Lehman, 6 fouls. Pam Lehman, it's crying time now. You can tell, always an unhappy moment. Even winning teams, even teams that are ahead, they cry when they leave the game. And girls basketball, a very, very emotional sport.
Boy, does she have a lot to be proud of. She's a member of the National Honor Society. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, she holds the school record for the most letters in the most sports, 5 of them in softball.
That's Pam Lehman. We're looking at her now. Very unhappy young lady. She fouls out. Free throw line, Judy Forrest. She scores.
In addition to being a basketball player, this little girl's a juggler, can ride a unicycle, and likes to spin basketballs on her fingertips.
All righty, she maybe have to do that for the rest of the game to keep her spirits up. And right now we have a dive off the court. Is she okay? Yeah, she's okay. Gets a nice round of applause. Tony Cowan dove off the court trying to retrieve the basketball.
You talk about hustle.
5:24 left to play. East by 20 points, 70-50. And East has the ball in forecourt. Lori Bauman. Back to Judy Forrest. Back to Bauman again. Going against Sue Block, and Bauman just kind of forces her way in there. Taps the ball back out, keeps it alive. Now Cramey will follow through, but Cramey can't get the bucket.
East Des Moines about to become the first unbeaten state champions since Mediapolis' great team of 1973. They were 31-0. This ball club will end up 30-0.
Kathy Note.
You can remember the late Leon Plummer, his Farragut state champions in 1971 were unbeaten at 30-0.
Here's Leanne Resch, and back again to Leanne. Leanne Resch, finally coming through that time.
And before that, Montezuma's back-to-back state champions in 1970 and 69 were 30-0 and 31-0.
70-52 is the score in favor of East. And there we have Judy Forrest putting it through. If they win, they'll be Mike Henderson's first ever #1 team in 6 years.
Mike Henderson,
going all through.
Mike Henderson, our expert at the Athletic Union, went 13-2 on picking the tournament. So did Randy Peterson of the Des Moines Tribune. Chuck Burdick picked East High also in this.
That's Don Crosby as he puts it through the hoop. 72-54. East is leading, in command of this game with 4 minutes to go. They broke it open, started to break it open in the second, and really completed the act in the third quarter when they dominated play. And here's Bob Hansen looking very relaxed at the present time. He had a look of anxiety about him when he was behind in the first quarter. Kathy Note, Satterfield rebounds. Fires out very quickly down court to Bauman. Over to Cramey.
East High crowd
3:37 to play.
Chanting, "We're number 1."
Judy Forrest to Bauman.
Bauman is now
39 points.
She is now only 5 points off the lead of the scoring derby in this tournament.
Bettendorf had 3-way firepower, but not enough of it tonight. Leanne Resch went in against Gamble. Basket count, foul on Gamble. You can't fault Resch. She's doing her part. 33 points for Resch. Jeannie Gamble picks up her 4th foul. And now we have some substitutes coming in. Jeannie Gamble goes out, and it'll be Jody Nelson coming in, replacing her. Well, in fact, we got Satterfield goes out too. So we got a whole bunch of subs coming in here for East.
And so Bauman, Jim, will end up with 147 points, and that'll get her second place in the scoring derby.
Jody Nelson, number 44. Sally Caron comes in, number 30 in the backcourt.
There's tears there because they're sad. The other tears were because they're happy.
And in the forecourt, Sarah Luthens has come in now. There's Jody Nelson. She'll be back in next year. Only a sophomore. Cramy comes down over to Judy Forrest. They're letting the seniors play here now, pretty much. Cramy with the ball. Back into Luthens. Luthens for East. Over to Forrest. And Forrest
Jim,
make that offense really work.
You realize how many of those kids could probably play for just about anybody else in the state?
They certainly could. And palming the ball is called against Bettendorf as they tried to bring it down. Leanne Resch is in the forecourt. Kathy Noth is in there along with number 13, Lisa Nichols. And now for East, we have another substitution coming in. Number 22, Becky Shanahan, 5'4" senior. So now East with the ball, 2:46 to play. Jody Nelson travels.
You know, Bettendorf can add this to their list of bridesmaids, Jim. In 67, they were runner-up in the state swimming. In 73, runner-up in gymnastics. Same way 74 and 75. 73, they were runner-up in co-ed tennis, but not the champion.
All right, trying to drive down the lane that time. Lisa Nichols is fouled by Jody Irely. Jody Irely. First game tonight, won by Hudson over Ackley Geneva, 82-71 for the consolation title. Jody takes the rebound. Jody Nelson, and it goes out of bounds. Let's see who's going to get it. It'll be down court for East.
Jim, it'll be fun to see Ackley Geneva come out and get the fourth-place trophy. Last time people saw them, they were crying, but a couple hours later, they'll be happy.
Right, and now it's Resch with the ball, and pops it. Leanne Resch.
Taking some insult out of injury.
Third quarter, only 2 points, and now she has 35 points for the game. And that, of course, when East made its big drive. Judy Forrest with the ball, 2:16 to play. Back down over to Becky Shanahan, number 22. Back out to Cramy. Gary Cramy finishing up a brilliant career over at East. 26 points for Cramy, 15 for Forrest, and right now Bauman on the bench has 39 points. And Lisa Nichols tried to fire one in. Jody Nelson off with the rebound. Goes into forecourt. Also foul is on Kathy Noth, number 23. Foul is on Noth. Substitutions now as Leanne Resch gets a standing ovation.
Carrie
as well she should. And Carrie Cramy comes out of the lineup with a big ovation from East. Two outstanding ball players. Carrie Cramy, a senior. What a career she's had over there at East High School.
She was not only all-state, Jim, in softball, but in volleyball, led the state as spiker.
All right, we're looking at Leanne Resch, and now Pam Irely is coming to the lineup for East. Gals from Bettendorf. Now with their share of subs in the lineup, too. Carla Hoffman, Lisa Nichols. And Kathy Noth has stayed in there. Rebound for East is picked up by Jody Irely. 1:32 to play. East with the ball. East in command of the score, 82-58. Shanahan has the ball popped out of her hands, and they call him for too much time in the lane.
You know, I think Bettendorf's done a good job, though, Jim, in this ball game. They came in. There's a lot of people said they didn't have a snowball chance in a sauna bath, and they've hung in there tough.
They really have, and East just was too much. East was too much for everybody in the state this year. The closest game was 12 points, although I will say, I guess walk-on, they had their problems. They got down by 8 points, but I guess the mark of a champion is it didn't seem to bother them.
That's right. They showed their medal.
East basketball, state champion, 1979. Now that's confidence. When you have that printed up in advance, you can lose a lot of money that way.
Yes, sir. Those are happy kids holding it up over there, too.
Right. He must have either raced out and had it done after the second half started or had that much confidence earlier today. Lisa Nichols at the free throw line for Bettendorf. East is leading 80-58. 1:18 left to play. So I want to thank Mike Henderson for his help all the way through the tournament here, particularly on our 2 nights of television. Mike, our statistician and the head man in statistics for the Girls High School Athletic Union, and also for publicity. We're doing a great job out here. At the end of the game, And at the champions dinner, we'll ask Mike again to make his prediction as to the #1 team in the state next year. We don't let him alone very long. Okay, now East of the ball. 1 minute and 10 seconds to play, and Becky Shanahan has it now for East. As they work it around, Diana White, 0-2.
Jim, I like the spirit.
22.
As the East Des Moines crowd is chanting, "We're #1," the Bettendorf crowd is chanting, if I hear it right, they're chanting, "We'll be back, we'll be back." That's real spirit.
Well, Bettendorf did a great job of getting here. There you see the whole story for Bettendorf written in that tear-stained face. Kathy Noth, that was Leanne Resch. East with an interception. As they work it into forecourt now, once again, it's Sarah Lukens over to Shanahan. Back again. Shanahan takes it. She sets, she shoots. It is no good. And the rebounding for Bettendorf is done by Lisa Kesey, and she is fouled by Lukens.
Come on, Carol, put him in!
And now the Bettendorf gals, but they'll get over this crying. Girl basketball, a very emotional sport.
Carol Hoffman at the line hasn't been there a lot of times this year.
Carol Hoffman, 5'5" senior. 35 seconds to play. East 80. Bettendorf 60. Ada shot good, and Jody Nelson off with the rebound as they get it into forecourt. Becky Shanahan almost goes out of bounds with it. 26 seconds to play in the game before we have state tournament history. Bettendorf coming back up with it again.
That's the fewest
Out of
number
bounds
of
now.
points
Bettendorf with the ball.
East High has scored in the state championship round. Their high water mark was 91 against Waukon, 90 against Hudson, 85 against Esterville. At least Bettendorf held them under their offensive average of 87.
Right, and they had an offensive average up over 90 until they played Urbandale during late in the season. All right. 6 seconds to play, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. East is leading by 22 points. 3 seconds on the clock. 3 seconds, and right now their photographers are moving in, trying to get the pictures of the East High School squad exploding, and the shot is good. Carol Hoffman puts it through. And the state tournament is history as East defeats Bettendorf 82-62. Final score, 82-62. Final score. And the scoring, Leanne Resch, 35 points for Bettendorf, and Lori Bauman, 39 points for East. And right now, we're going to see all the emotion and excitement of the awarding of the trophies here. Coach Bob Hanson of East Des Moines receiving the traditional red coat from the Girls High School Athletic Union, emblematic of championship basketball in the state of Iowa, awarded to the winning coach each year. Now the all-tournament team at guard, Teresa Satterfield of East, Barb Good, Cedar Rapids Regis, Janelle Bars, Ackley Geneva, Tony Cowan, Bettendorf. At forward, Lori Bauman from East. Chris Rowland of Belmont. Tracy DeBerg, Ackley Geneva. And the captain of the all-tournament team, Carrie Cramey of East.